बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। रब्बी ज़िदनी इल्मा, ऐ मेरे रब मेरे इल्म में इजाफ़ा फरमा, आमीन। अस्सलाम वालेकुम class, I am your physics teacher Iram. We have completed chapter number 12. I hope there is no difficulty for you in that chapter now, and hope you have completed it by all means. Today we are going to start chapter number 13, electrostatics. Today we will see its brief introduction and the topics production of electrical charges and the electrostatic induction. After learning the topics, you will be able to define electrostatics, differentiate between different methods of charging the objects, and you can do different activities to demonstrate the effects of electrostatics. Let's start with the topic electrostatics or static electricity, as it is clear from its name static that it deals with the charges at rest. We can define the electrostatics as the study of charges at rest is called electrostatics or static electricity. It means charges can be at rest and they can move also. So this chapter deals with the charges that are at rest, that are contained in any object. That's why it is called static electricity or electrostatics. Here are some important terms related to electrostatics that you have to remember so that you can easily understand all the concepts of this chapter. First is the charges. You are familiar with this word charge as you have studied the structure of atom. You also know that everything is made up of atoms, and atomic structure contains protons, neutrons and electrons. The protons and neutrons are present inside the nucleus. Protons carry positive charge and neutrons are neutral. That's why as a whole nucleus carries positive charge due to the presence of protons. And electrons revolve around the nucleus in the fixed orbits. They are continuously moving and they carry negative charge. So we can say that in an atom as a whole, an atom is a neutral. As a whole, atom is neutral because the number of protons and electrons in any atom are same. So here we have seen the charges, positive charge and negative charge. Proton carries positive charge and electron carries negative charge. Anything which carry positive charge greater than negative charge as a whole appears to be positive, and if any object carries negative charge more than the positive charge, then we can say that it is negatively charged. In the next topics we will see how is it possible. Next term is the static charges. Static charges means the charges at rest. Here you can see two different materials. One is plastic and the other is cloth. So you can see some charges positive and negative present on the plastic and in the duster also. They are contained on these objects, they cannot move. So we can say that these charges are present on the objects. They are static there. So these charges are called static charges. They are at rest. Next is the word friction. Here you can see an uncharged plastic rod is rubbed with an uncharged cloth. When it is rubbed, both of these materials, both of these objects gets charged. The rod gets positive charge and the cloth gets negative charge. This is due to friction. The rubbing is actually friction, which produces positive charge on one body and the negative charge on the other body, which is just because of the transfer of electrons from one object to the other object. One more thing you have to keep in your mind, that only electrons can be transferred because they can be shielded off from the outermost shells of the atoms, so they can be transferred from one object to the other, but the positive charge cannot move because it is contained inside the nucleus. So whenever mm, um, there is a term that it gets charged or the charge is moving, you will easily understand that, you can easily guess that the electrons are moving. And whenever electrons move from one place to the other, the material which gets excess of charge will become negatively charged, and the material from where the these electrons are being transferred, there is the we can say deficiency of the electrons is there, so it will be positively charged. That's why here in this example the plastic rod gets positive charge, because electrons from this plastic rod are transferred to the cloth, and the cloth gets excess of negative charge. That's why it is now negatively charged. This is just because of friction, which is rubbing actually. Next is the electric forces. There are two types of forces between the charges. There can be attraction and repulsion. You can see repulsion is present between same charges. Negative and negative will be repelled, positive and positive will be repelled, and neutral objects will not attract, they will not attract or repel each other if both of the objects are neutral. In that case they will not attract or repel each other, but the opposite charges always attract each other. You can see that positive and negative charges are attracting each other. These are the electrical forces. So these are the important terms you have to remember. Now, production of electric charges, that how any object can be charged. There are three methods to produce a charge on an object: by friction, by induction, and by conduction. We will discuss these three in detail in this chapter, but today's topic mostly involves friction and induction. Let's have a brief insight in difference between induction, conduction, and friction, so that you can guess that which method is used for different cases. First one is the friction. Objects can be charged by rubbing them. As I have just told you that rubbing means friction, because two materials are just rubbed against each other, the friction must be there. So objects can be charged by rubbing them together to exchange charges. Exchange charges means electrons can be shifted, they can be transferred from one object to the other. In that case, one item will be positive and other will be negatively charged. The material having deficiency of electrons will be positively charged, and the material with excess of electron will be negatively charged. Next is the conduction. Electrons are transferred to or from a charged object to a neutral object. Means in conduction, unlike friction, as friction involves rubbing, in conduction just a touch will be there. If a charged object touches to a neutral object, the neutral object will also get charged. We will discuss this method in next topic, in next lectures in detail. Next is the induction. Charged objects is brought near neutral object. Electrons in the neutral object redistribute themselves. It means in induction physical touch is not there. It means we don't have to touch any charged object to the other neutral object. In the case of induction, you have to just bring a charged object near a neutral object, so that in the neutral object electrons will redistribute themselves. Important thing is that the object is not actually charged, just appears to be in different parts of the object. Here is some brief introduction to the three methods. We will discuss them in detail one by one. Here is the production of charges by friction. How the object gets charged by friction. Electric charge can be produced by rubbing a neutral body with another neutral body, because as a whole an object is neutral if it has the positive and negative charges in equal amount. So it is said to be a neutral body if its positive and negative charges are equal. Two types of charges, positive and negative, can be produced through the process of rubbing. As I have told you that the rubbing causes electrons to be transferred. The object with electron deficiency will be positive, and the object with excess of electron will get negative. So two types of charges can be produced, positive and negative. How? Let's discuss an example. Here you can see a glass rod and silk cloth. Silk cloth is being rubbed on the glass rod. What will happen? The glass rod will gets positive charge and silk cloth will get negative charge. Why? Because due to rubbing, the electrons from the glass rod are shifted to the silk cloth. So as a whole, initially the glass rod and silk cloth were neutral, but by rubbing, what happens? Silk cloth gets negative charge and glass rod faces deficiency of electrons. That's why it gets positive charge as a whole. It is positively charged body now. Activity. Now we will see in this activity that how the charged objects will behave. Here you can see in first case a glass rod is hanging with a silk thread and another glass rod is brought near the suspended glass rod. You can see the positive charge on both of these rods, two charged rods of same sign. So let's guess what will happen. The movement of the suspended glass rod will tell you that what kind of force is present between these two bodies, or we can also guess the type of charge present on the body, because we cannot see the charges on anything. So by these activities we can guess the charges present on any object. If these two charges have same sign, they are for example, if they are both positively charged, then what will happen? The suspended glass rod will be repelled, will get repelled from this glass rod. It means it will be obvious that both of these rods will have same charge. And if we take another ebonite rod near to the positively charged suspended glass rod, what will happen? This glass rod will be attracted towards this ebonite rod. So in this case we will guess that one of these is positively charged and the other is negatively charged. In this case the repulsion shows that both of these rods have same charge. So it is clear that the same charges will repel each other, but the opposite charges will attract each other. Now you can ask a question here that how we can know that the electrons of which material will get transferred to the other material, or which material is suitable for taking the electrons. Here is a list for your information. In the list given below, different materials have been arranged in such a way that if any two of materials are rubbed together, the materials occurring first in the list would have positive charge and that occurring next would have negative charge. For example, among cat skin and lead, skin has positive charge whereas lead has negative charge. In this example we can see that if the cat skin and lead are rubbed together, you can see cat skin is present on 5th number and lead is present on 6th number, means cat skin is present before the lead. So if you rub these two materials, cat skin will get positive charge and the lead will get negative charge. So Let's take another example. For if we take cotton cloth and plastic and rub together, cotton cloth will get positive charge and plastic will get negative charge. So this list is arranged in such a way that any two materials present in this list, if are rubbed, the material present before the other will get positive charge and the other will get negative charge. It depends upon the ability of any material that it can have more electrons or it can transfer its excess electrons to the other material or not. So by these activities we can conclude some important things, some important points, which are: charge is a basic property of a material body due to which it attracts or repels an other object. It means charge is the property due to which a body can repel or attract any other object. Friction produces two different types of charge on different material. Means if two materials are rubbed together, one will get positive charge and the other will get negative charge. Both of these will be charged differently. Different type of charge will be present on that two materials. Like charges always repel each other and the unlike charges always attract each other. Repulsion is the sure test of charge on a body. This is an important thing here, that repulsion is the sure test of charge on a body. Why not attraction? You might ask a question here that why not attraction is the sure test of charge on a body. So here is the answer. How repulsion is the sure test of charge on a body? As I have told you that a neutral object is an object which has same number of positive and negative charges in it. So let's see. Any charged object, whether positively charged or negatively charged, will have an attractive interaction with a neutral object. Positively charged objects and neutral objects attract each other, and negatively charged objects and neutral objects attract each other. It means neutral objects get attracted to both type of charges. Both type of objects, whether it is positive or negative, neutral object will be attracted. It means attraction is not a sure test, because if you take two objects and you don't know whether they are positive, negative or neutral, if they get attracted, you can guess they have opposite charges, or you can also think that one is positive and other is neutral, or one is negative and the other is neutral. So that's why attraction is not a sure test of charge on a body, because neutral objects also gets attracted to any type of charge. Here you can see neutral charges are attracted to both positive and negative charges, and I have told you that only the like charges will repel each other. Repulsion will be there if both of the objects are charged, either positive or either negative. Means both of the rods, if positive, will get repelled. If both of the rods repel each other, they can have either both of them can have positive charge, or both of them can have negative charge. In that case, electrostatic induction. We can define electrostatic induction as: whenever a charged body is brought close to an insulated conductor, the near end of the conductor develops an unlike charge, while the far end of conductor develops a like charge. This separation of charges is called electrostatic induction. You can see in this case that a positive charged rod is brought close to a sphere. What is happening in that sphere? The charges are separated on the sides of the sphere. How they are separated? Because you know that the opposite charges attract each other, so the electrons from this end they move towards the positive charge rod and gather on one side of the sphere, and the other side, due to the deficiency of electrons, will get positive charge. Here you can see that only the distribution is changed, but as a whole the sphere is neutral. But we can also charge any object by electrostatic induction. Let's see how. Here you can see that a positive charge rod is brought close to a neutral sphere. What happens? The electrons move towards the end which is close to the positive charge rod, and the other end will be positively charged. By keeping the charge rod close to the sphere is connected to ground. What will happen? The electrons will move to the ground, because only electrons can move. They will be moved to the ground. And now in third part the sphere is disconnected from the ground and the charge rod is still there, and when we remove the charge rod, the remaining electrons will be distributed evenly on the sphere. That's how a sphere has a induced charge. So we can say that an object can be charged by electrostatic induction. Let's discuss another case. You are having two spheres, neutral spheres. They are touching each other so that the electrons can move from one to the other. A charged rod is brought close to one sphere. What will happen? The electrons from both of the spheres will gather to the part which is close to the charged rod. Next, one part will appear as positive and the other will be negatively charged. Now, if we break the connection between these two spheres, what will happen? The one sphere will get negative charge and the other sphere will get positive charge, because they are now separated, and we have kept the positive charge rod near to the sphere. When we remove it, the charges will be evenly distributed on the spheres, and one sphere will get positive charge as a whole and the other sphere will get negative charge as a whole. Each sphere is now charged, one positive and one negative. That's how we can charge the objects through electrostatic induction. Here are some demonstrations through which you can easily understand the electrostatics in our daily life. Let's see. Number one, here you can see the attraction of pieces of tissue paper. First with a straw. Here you can see the rubbing. Due to the friction, the straw gets charged and it attracts the pieces of tissue. Here a Teflon rod is taken and it is rubbed. It gets charged and can attract the pieces of paper because they were neutral, and their charges will be redistributed due to the charged rod brought close to them and gets attracted to the rod or straw. Here is another material, the bubble plastic. It also attracts the pieces of paper. Here you will see the attraction of a can by a Teflon rod due to the charging of rod. A balloon rubbed with a cloth can also attract the can. Here are the balloons. These are simple activities you can also do at your home. You can also perform an activity by rubbing a balloon in your hair. You will see your hair attracted towards the balloon if you take balloon on some distance from your hair. Here you can see attraction and repulsion between different objects due to this rubbing, and they will get charged. If they get same charge, they will repel. If they get opposite charges, they will attract each other. Here you can see the repulsion. Here is the attraction, because now a different thing is brought near to the balloons. They will attract it towards the wood. So that was all about the our today's topics. In case of any problem, you can ask anything anytime. Here is your homework. You have to watch the video and read the topic from the book, and you have to answer these two activities. First is, you can see diagrams, 5 diagrams are here. Charged rubber rods are placed near a neutral conducting sphere, causing a redistribution of charges on the sphere. Which of the diagrams below depict the proper distribution of charge on the spheres? As I have told you in induction, that the charges will be redistributed according to the charged rods which are brought near the spheres. Here is a list of different charged rods that are brought closer to the spheres. You have to tell which one truly depicts, which one correctly depicts the proper distribution of charges. You can see positively and negatively charged rods and also the distribution of charges in the sphere. You have to tell whether diagram A, B, C, D or E is correct according to the distribution. If there is more than 2 figures which correctly show the proper distribution, you can tell whether it is diagram A, B, both, C, D or anything that is correct. You have to just write the name in your answer. Second one is, here you can see the objects hanging. Object A, B and C. First is the case in which A and B are attracted but B and C are repelling each other. If B object have negative charge, you have to tell what will be the charge on A and C. In second case, you also see A, B and C. If B is negative, you have to tell the charges present on A and C. Just you have to write case 1, then the charge on object A and charge on object C, and then you have to write case 2, charge on object A and charge on object C. And you have to answer these 2 questions only by text messages. Thank you.